Welcome to the MHL's Week 2001 Draft Special. Sitting in for Jack Griffin, who is still embroiled in that nasty and rather disturbing boy band scandal, I'm Dave Rhodes. On tonight's show, news from around the league, a special roundtable discussion featuring two of the league's most opinionated owners, and gratuitous violence and much, much more. But first, let's look at the news from around the league. Our top story, Alexei Yashin has officially signed his new 10-year contract worth $89.5 million with the Islanders. But now the MHL this week has learned that just 2 hours after signing his deal, Yashin has told Islander management he is holding out until the Islanders restructure his contract. Mike Milbury reportedly asked Yashin, quote, "What are you, crazy? You just signed the deal," unquote. Yashin responded, quote, "Yes, but that was 2 hours ago. I'm already worth at least a few $1,000s more now." In a related development, new teammate and Islander center Michael Pekka will also be holding out until Yashin gets more money. In Olympic news, all members of the U.S. Olympic hockey team have been instructed by GM Craig Patrick to pack a sleeping bag and tent with their equipment this year because during their 2-week stay in Salt Lake City, they'll be staying at the KOA. They're going to be camping out. Apparently, no hotel will accept any of their reservations within a 200-mile radius. Chris Chelios says no big deal. He'll just go to the Belarus hockey team hotel headquarters and just trash their rooms. Page 2. Pierre Turgeon has joined the Dallas Stars as a free agent, and already there's tension in the locker room. Coach Ken Hitchcock has quickly tried to quash rumors of unrest. "There is no problem," says Hitchcock. Pierre ruffled some feathers when he claimed to have a better tan than Modano. They had words. When Turgeon turned his back, Modano did a Claude Lemieux number on him. It's okay. Modano's not expected to miss any time on the ice or in the tanning bed. There's been a very busy offseason in Detroit if they've tried to assemble their best all-star team in league history. Luc Robitaille, Brett Hall, Dominik Hasek have all been acquired, and we've just learned today that they have signed Phil Esposito, Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Hall, and Toe Blake. When informed Toe Blake was dead, a Red Wing spokesman said, quote, "Oh, really? Well, never mind." The dead Cobains have restructured their front office and have made the following moves. Paula Poundstone has been named the new director of youth development. The new strength and conditioning coach will be Mariah Carey, and the scout in charge of players in the fourth dimension, Anne Heche. Yanni Laukinen, as we all know, has hurt his knee playing pickup hockey at a Sami Salo bachelor party. But we've learned that wasn't the only injury of the night. Apparently, one of the strippers pulled Salo's groin. Oh, and this just in, Curtis Brown is still banned. Page 3. Peter Forsberg has decided to take a year off, so we'll have to wait and see if another spleenless wonder graces the MHL. In a very desperate move, and in an effort to entice Forsberg to join his club, the Regina Lickalottopusses have ordered all of his players to have all of their spleens removed so that Peter doesn't feel out of place. Mark Messier has volunteered to do the surgeries with a stick. And that's pretty much all the news that fits. Coming up next, a special roundtable discussion with two of our owners, two owners from the most opinionated I can think of in this league. But first, this league has been around for 10 years. We've seen a lot of weird and very strange things happen. Chat rooms, magazines, and yes, TV shows. And let's pause now and look back in our 10-year history at a very special MHL This Week moment.
Welcome back to the MHL this fortnight. Once again, thanks to our band, the Wombats with Hemorrhoids. Looks like we have a keeper in that band with this fine work they're doing now. As I indicated earlier, our guests this week are the Andy Banfield of the Moose Jaw Kamloops, the #1 team in the MHL, and Tom Garver of the Riddlers, the team with the #1 draft pick as of today in next year's draft in the MHL. We'll go to you first, Tom. There's been a lot of jockeying for position over the past couple weeks with respect to the draft pick, and you and the women really had a battle there for a while, and his team seems to have faded out. Now, last time you were on the show, you guys were pretty much trading compliments. It was pretty regularly, and I wonder if that relationship has soured at all.
First of all, Jack, I think jockeying for position is a mild term. You might want to go out and out throwing games here. I mean, I used to have a lot of respect for Ralph Canterbury until I saw his lineup this week. The man has no integrity at all. I can't believe he didn't have the guts to come on the show and try and defend his picks this week at all.
You lousy piece of garbage, I'll show you guts!
Jeez, come on, you want to do it? Come on, wait, shut it. It's right where it belongs.
Okay, well, Andy, you got to be a little disappointed. Your team's had a tough go. Even though you won the last couple of games, you haven't got above 20 points. I think probably ought to be a little bit concerned about, going into the playoffs, how you're doing.
It's not exactly the way we want to go in. Obviously, not scoring the points. But we'll work through it, and we got off to a good start this week. We knew we were in trouble last week. Just wanted to show you a little prop that I have that we used. Here it is.
Good times. Welcome back to the MHL this week. This is our roundtable discussion part of the show with two of the most opinionated owners in the MHL. First, let me introduce Andy Banfield to my left. Andy, your team has been described as hapless playoff buffoons covered with mud. Welcome. Another year, another failed rule change proposed by Jim Pritchard. And I wonder, you've lived with the man. Will he ever be happy?
No. He will never be happy. And
No?
I just like to make a statement about this. This rule change was a good idea. Jim Pritchard had a good idea. How long have we been here? 10 years? He had a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying this
gotta
is the
take
first good
advantage.
idea he's ever had?
All right.
Okay. Okay.
We had a chance to take advantage of it, and we squandered it. So don't expect any more good ideas from Reykjavik.
Let me just say that, on the record, that I agreed with his rule change, but of course I have Brian Leach and Al McGinnis, and there's no way I'm going to vote for less points coming from my team.
Who could blame you?
Let me just put that on the record. Jim, sorry, maybe next year. And to Andy's left, we have current MHL champion Tom Garver. You may remember Tom won the Mario Lemieux sweepstakes last year. Tom, my first question to you is, I just heard Mario has had his spleen taken out. How do you proceed this year without him?
Without Mario?
Yeah, he had a
Wasn't that
spleen.
Forsberg?
No, I think it was Mario.
Oh, Mario had a spleen taken out?
Yeah.
I'll probably win the lottery for Fedorov then.
And get Fedorov back.
Yeah, get Fedorov.
Okay. Well, he's got a little bit of a drinking problem.
That's okay. He's a little upset from leaving from Garver's Ferry.
Yeah. Okay.
We get him back in the fold, get him down to the dock, dry him out a little bit. He'll be fine.
Get him down the dock. Okay. Tom, you're reportedly related to new MHL owner Joe Garver. Is there any truth to these allegations?
None whatsoever.
No.
It was a furniture delivery incident, and let's just leave it at that. My other brother was involved, and I know that would spark a lot of rumors, but really, it's nothing.
Okay. I got to ask you, this isn't on my prepared sheet, but Garver's Ferry now has 2 franchises. Is Garver's Ferry big enough for 2 MHL franchises?
Well, they asked the same thing about the baseball, and we both sold out.
I noticed
all 20 seats for both
you
games,
both were at the
for
bottom
both
of the
teams.
league for much of the year.
There's only 20 seats in each stadium, so we sold out. That's
Okay.
all I can say.
All right. What precautions are you going to be using to make sure the MHL Cup isn't stolen during this year's draft? We all know this has been going on, and we know there's a certain individual who takes pride in taking the cup.
Would you ever see it at Run DMC? They have that, wears a big clock.
Yeah,
I was going to
yeah.
get a chain and just wear it around my neck. I thought that'd be the best way.
Okay.
It'd be a little tough drinking out of it if I don't hold on to it.
Uh-huh.
But I've spilled beer before.
But hip. It'll be hit with the kids.
That's what I'm thinking.
I've seen you spill beer. Tom, for years, we've seen a lot of tension between you and Ralph Canterbury, and I've never understood it. Maybe you could elaborate on what is the problem between the two of you, and why can't we all just get along?
Beef, I feel the same way. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's upset because years ago I took Fedorov off him.
Right.
Right before the Fedorov had his big year. I know he's PO'd about that. When we were in Washington, I wouldn't wear my underwear on backwards whenever we were sleeping in the bed together.
I did not know that. Wow.
I think the straw that broke the camel's back. I've been commenting on his wardrobe lately. I mean, it's pretty bad. And this rat bastard comes after me the other day. He was just like,
Rat bastard! Why you? Oh, not again! No! He's never gonna like it!
Stop!
Welcome back to the show. This week's play of the week comprises a number of plays of the week, all involving former implant Ally Afraidy, who was traded for a free agent pickup, which I think was used for Patrice Brisbois. Patrice. Yeah, Patrice.
It's the girl's name, isn't it?
We're checking into his sexual status. He may not make the homosexual rule either with a name like Patrice. That investigation is underway. Anyway, Ally Afraidy, 14 points, new MHL record for defenseman, and certainly an impressive start in his Pucker career, and the Puckers are mighty happy, I'm sure. Let's get to the plays of the week. First play, I think they were playing Ottawa. Ally Afraidy picked the puck up, and he went like that. And what did he do, Jim?
I believe he scored.
And then he picked the puck up against the Penguins later in the week, right about here, and he went like that. And what did he do, Andy?
He scored.
And then against the Penguins, he picked the puck up and he went like that. And what did he do?
I think he scored again.
He scored every time he touched the puck. Ally Afraidy, this week's player of the week, and this week's many plays of the week. Far too many to show on the chalkboard, but we got 3 of them in there. Thanks for watching the show. We'll be back next week. I think we'll have the Rat Patrol and some undetermined guest. And we'll see who's desperate enough to come back on, and we'll see you later.
I have pickups available, Jerry.
Okay, welcome back, Ralph. Thanks for joining us. And
My pleasure.
we all know that you've been the first one.
Can I say something? Can I interest anybody in an Oktoberfest?
Oh, please. I'm kind of thirsty. A little parched over here. Ralph, you were the first one to drink from the MHL Cup, and
Here, honey.
Thanks, dear.
that's nice. You were the first one to drink from the MHL Cup, and thank you, Andy. And I wonder how you feel that the Cup went a whole year during Jim Pritchard's reign as champion without having any alcohol consumed. How'd that make you feel?
Well, let me just first of all say that, being the first MHL champion, I think most of the people in the league look up to me and admire me for being the first champion. And quite honestly, I drank a lot from it that first year.
Yeah.
Cheers.
What does that say? The floaters? Is that the baseball cup?
Well, you know what? I brought the baseball cup, but it's got my hockey team name on it, so
Why'd you
I
do
thought
that?
that'd be
That's
okay.
Oh, okay.
That has your hockey team name on the Nesbitt Cup?
Yes.
Were you drinking? How'd that happen? Okay.
Anyway.
Sorry, Ralph.
So I drank quite a bit from the cup. I just assumed in the future years that cup would just be a bastion of alcohol. It never occurred to me that something like this could happen, and quite honestly, it bothered me a lot.
Perhaps we should have proposed a rule change early on about this. I mean, no one saw it coming.
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone could possibly imagine this happening.
Right.
I've been in counseling now for a year and a half. I'm pretty good with the whole thing now, but
Rest assured, this next year, there's going to be alcohol.
and that makes me feel good. I mean, I think that's part of the recovering
part of
process.
it, yeah.
And it's part of the recovering process not only for me, but for all of us. What happened here was devastating, absolutely devastating, and we can only hope and pray that nothing like that ever happens again to the Cup.
Okay, now this past year, all of us in Nesbitt know that you've changed your name to the Moncton Pissy Ducks. Is there any name change coming about in hockey?
No, I don't think so. No, we've invested too much in the community. The Fruit Loops are here to stay. We got a lot of negative publicity when we switched from the women in lingerie back in '93.
Right after you won the Cup, might I add.
That is correct. Actually, we were the women in lingerie the next year, too, and we were pathetically bad. And that That name change, of course, was going to inspire us to go on to bigger and better things, which never happened, but we invested a lot of money in it, and so we're going to continue to go with the same name.
Okay.
We're pretty comfortable with that.
Have you seen any increase in tourism these past few years in Moncton?
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that, because Moncton, of course, as you all know, is one of the tourism type capitals of Canada. A lot of people come there, families come there year-round. The weather is fantastic, the people are fantastic, and we have really picked up the slack with the events of the last month. Things down in traditional places like Disney World have really slowed down, and we've been able to pick up a lot of that business. We've had the local government up there. Jean-Pierre Smith is the...
I know of his work in Toronto.
Yes, as a matter of fact, he was in Toronto at one time.
We're up there.
And he's gotten us a lot of money that we've invested in strip joints, bars, family entertainment. Though I mean, you can go into the strip joints up in Moncton now, and there are a lot of families that go there. There's like a kids' room. They've got video games, skee ball, and we've got the lottery and things like that for the kids. So we feel like we've got the whole package for everybody up in Moncton. We're looking forward to a great season. We're sold out this year again. So we think with the combination of the terrorist attack down here, we don't think any terrorists know where Moncton is. So everyone up there feels fairly safe.
Are you on a map?
We weren't as of last year, but we think there might be one now.
Okay, all right. Well, that's
so we're
progress.
pretty happy about that.
Yes. You talked to Jean-Pierre. This isn't hockey related, but I know his team's in baseball is the Zanzibar Flatliners. Was there any truth to the rumor he was going to change the name from Zanzibar to Gold Club Flatliners? Have you heard that?
No, I haven't heard. It wouldn't surprise me, though. Would not surprise me.
I would think a good move.
out of there too?
That's the rumor.
He has had a rocky relationship with Zanzibar in the past several years.
That's true.
And,
Well, he's always tried to liberate them. And
it wouldn't surprise me.
okay, well, thank you all for joining us. First thing I'd like to throw on the table is this new rule change. You know, unlimited pickups, $75 flat fee. You can pick up a guy one night, drop him the next night, pick him up again, drop him. In fact, you could just keep doing it to piss Jack off. What do you think? How is this going to affect the league? Anyone?
Wow.
Oh, I don't think it's going to affect most of the teams, but it's not going to affect the Puckers, the Rets, and the Cobains at all. They made no pickups last year,
Right.
so they don't care.
Probably won't even know the rules in effect.
That's very possible. The rest of us, I hope we can make pickups 30, 40 times this year. Anything we can do to cut down on Jack's beach time, I think, would be honorable on our part.
Well, that seems
I don't
like
want to see him get a bad sunburn.
sure. I think if we just pick up a guy and just keep dropping him and picking him up.
Pick a guy up on Monday and drop him on Thursday.
Well, yeah,
Use him.
that's the fun of it. You can actually do it for fun.
And it's
you
really-
can pick guys up and then drop them again with no intention of ever keeping.
And it's interactive because you can see it on the website. He's got that part on the website. You can just keep seeing him pop up.
And
I mean, that's fun.
That's marketing, too. You're going to see your team name up on the website more and more often. If you do 6, 8, 12 transactions a week,
It's called hits.
yeah, that's marketing hits. People are going to see that, and they're going to say, hey, what's up?
You can't buy that kind of advertising.
Oh, no. And so it was very nice of the league to put this rule into effect.
I think you're going to see a resurgence, too, with some of the players coming back into the league that we've had before. Like Tony Herkus. I expect him to be picked up 8, 10, 12 times.
Chris Contos probably by week 2.
There's
Ray
another player.
Whitney.
Ray Whitney.
Yeah, isn't he protected?
Was he?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, he'll be dropped.
He'll be dropped. And
Oh, you can drop him, you can pick him right back
He'll be
up.
picked up right
That's
after the
very good.
draft, I imagine. So, okay, well, that's interesting. I didn't think of the marketing angle. So,
I'm looking forward to it. It's going
okay.
to be a lot of fun.
guys, the league's been around for 10 years now. Andy, Ralph, you're original owners, and let's think back 10 years, and what is your favorite Greg Smith moment? Andy, I'm going to start with you.
It would have to be our first trip to Washington. There was so many moments, and first one that I can think of, and I guess if I have to limit it to one, it would probably be the night we came back from the game, and Jack and I were walking together, and some other folks were joining us, and we looked on the ground and we said, what the hell are these seed things? And they were really sharp, and you got to think of Greg Smith right then and there. So we picked them up and carried them to us, and Jerry Bunda stealthily snuck out of our poker game that we were
That's
having.
not something you see in the sentence twice. Jerry Bunda and stealth.
Stealthily, no, those usually are not.
That's a good point too, Andy. Bunda was keenly involved in that.
Very
He will still to this day deny it.
Oh, sure.
But I think we all know that
Well,
he was really the mastermind behind
Good
that.
politicians do deny.
Oh, I would have taken credit.
I would have loved to
in a
have been in
heartbeat.
on that.
Right, and that's, he snuck out. Nobody saw him leave except the select few who were involved. And we all waited that night and went to bed, and sudden silence, beautiful Landover night. And then the shriek, the shrieking. Blood curdling is
It was a
a
shriek
great
we'll
thing.
never forget.
And then the slew of curse words. It was just fantastic. 3:30 in the morning on a Washington night. It doesn't get any better than that.
Good moment.
That's good. That's good times. Tom, what's your favorite Greg Smith moment?
Like Andy said, there's so many.
There are many. Let's try and pick one.
I might as well go. I was going to go with something different, but you know what? I'm going to go with the one where he was asked to leave the Zanzibar. That was a classic. Ralph, you were there.
Yeah, I was with you on that one, yes.
No, you were the only two with Greg at the time.
That would be because everyone else, when Greg announced he was going to Zanzibar, everyone else immediately
Went
turned
the
around
other
and
way.
announced they were going out to
We
dinner.
were going the other way.
Right.
But we go in, and we had just ordered, what was it, a 72-ounce beer or something like, whatever, or liter.
It's a liter up there,
However,
I think.
we just gave them some
I think it's 6 feet.
pieces of paper, and they came back with
We didn't have to
really
give them money. We gave
big
them whatever
things
that
of
stuff
beer.
we gave.
And,
That's fake money.
we no sooner took a sip out of it, and he's on the floor from a chair.
Maybe he dropped something. Has anyone never considered that?
We don't really know. Immediately, these huge people come over and they tell us we got to go. But fortunately, I was able to talk them into at least let us finish our beers.
So you smoothed over the situation.
Well,
Was Greg on the floor while you were drinking your beer?
He eventually got
They
up.
basically asked him to get back up.
Yeah,
And they
yeah,
asked
yeah.
us to keep a
As
lid.
much as he might have enjoyed it down there, he had to get back up.
So
We finished
apparently
our
in
beers.
Canada it's wrong to lay on the ground passed out.
They're very into verticality.
Then we were walking him home, and he was walking over cars. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact.
That's pretty good.
On a Friday night in front of thousands of people
On Young Street.
on Young Street.
Ralph, what's your favorite?
Wow, like I said, there are so many of them. I would have to go with, it's close. It's between the riding the pony incident in Washington, but I think I'm going to go with the Jean-Pierre losing his ATM card at Niagara Falls.
This is truly classic.
It was everyone else. We all lined
There's
up.
like
and we
8
went
of
in
us
there.
lined up
Everyone
there.
went in, ba-bang, ba-bang, ba-bang. Everybody got their money. Everybody got their card. He put his card in, and it was gone. It just couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. And he was 3 sheets to the wind at that point. So he was vocal about it, and we basically had to drag
Yeah,
him
because
out
we
of
were
there.
spending Canadian money at that point, and he still
We
had
all stopped for our
greenbacks.
Canadian. Yeah, he had a big wad of American money, and he wanted the Canadian money. And Jean-Pierre had a little bit of trouble there in the ice and snow
Yeah.
of Niagara
Yeah.
Falls.
I tell you what, there were a lot. For me, it stands out. Back in Washington on a different trip, we went to the bar and we were, of course, telling everyone in the bar that he was Senator Orrin Hatch from Utah.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, and and we got him up to the bar, and of course he was very inebriated and I think an even drunker guy was sitting next to him, and he said, "Do you know who's sitting next to you? This is the senior senator from Utah next to you, Orrin Hatch." And he's like, "Wow." And he bought him a shot, and he told Greg, "Your basketball team sucks."
That's right.
And Greg just played it off, and once again, another alias like Jean-Pierre.
Unbelievable.
And here's to Greg.
Here's to Greg.
To Greg.
I think he'll be taking your cup later.
Well, it's possible.
All right, now let's get to the meat of the matter here. Let's look at the first round. Let's try and break it down. Let's try and figure out who's going where. A little primer for the MHL draft this year. Now, the initial pick, Ice Melters, the Garver's Ferry Ice Melters. This is a newbie here. This is Jose making his very first MHL pick. Tom, what do you see him doing here? You're his brother, right?
Greg Maddox.
Greg Maddox?
He's not going to let that go by again. Either that, or he's going to try and corner the market for players whose name ends in V. If you remember in baseball, he tried to corner the market with Z's. So
Right.
I can see a lot of OVs going.
Okay, so he's
If he doesn't go with Greg Maddox.
he'll follow a pattern.
The,
then.
the Maddox,
yeah.
the Maddox angle is definitely a solid angle. He's been regretting that move since '98.
He's not going to let it go this time.
Ralph, you see Greg Maddox as well?
I think it's a good possibility. I also see the letter V. I'm not sure he's that familiar with the letter V. Z is kind of at the end of the alphabet. He was able to pick up on that one. So
You don't think he can come in from the back?
yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough for him to maybe focus on the letter V, but the alphabet angle is definitely very possible with him. Also,
It's not a bad strategy.
I'd look for him to go with a lot of short names. Short names. If Bobby Orr was available, that would be one he'd be
He
looking
went to
for.
Oliver High School.
Right, there you go. So
Very few consonants. more
don't
vowels.
look for him to go with anything that the Wheat Kings would
I just can't
draft.
wait to see his face when the Wheat Kings start drafting.
It might be too much.
He could explode.
That's true.
Okay. Andy, what do you see him doing
I
here?
like the Greg Maddox angle. I have to agree, but I think we're not giving Jose enough credit. You know, I think he knows that it's hockey, not baseball. But again, I won't be there, so you're going to have to check on that. I'm thinking he's going Billy Tibbetts here.
Oh, Billy
this,
Tibbetts.
this is a guy that is Jose personified.
Sure.
Tough, rough, no clue what the game's about.
Goes after fans.
This is him.
Criminal
Sure.
past.
So, well, I don't know about that.
Well,
Anyhow, I'm glad this isn't America's Most Wanted. Yeah, I see Billy Tibbetts here. I really do.
Okay, as far as the way I see this is, I'm going to take a little bit of you and a little bit of you guys.
Greg Tibbetts?
Keith Osick. I think he's taking Keith Osick with this pick. He's going to go definitely Pittsburgh, and I think he's going to mistakenly take a baseball player. So I think I'm right on with you too. So I think we're all jiving here. Second pick, Wheat Kings. Tough year last year. He's picking high. He's not used to doing this.
Not unless he trades for it.
That's true. So I mean, what's going on here, Andy? I mean, who's he going to take here?
Well, he needs a goalie.
Sure.
And I'm thinking that's the direction he's going to go. My guess is, especially with the situation with Chechmanek and Boucher in Philadelphia, both of them are liabilities and could go straight in the toilet. I see him going to a guy who just became eligible this year. His name's Antero Niittymaki. Okay.
Ooh, Niittymaki.
Niittymaki. He is actually a Swedish player, even though he sounds very Japanese. Antero is his given name. I would have given it back.
Sure.
But this is I see Niittymaki here.
Okay, Niittymaki. Tom, what are you looking at here?
I've got Per Svartvedet.
Yes. I saw him play Monday night.
Did you?
Yes, strong force.
Is he a forward?
You know what? I don't know.
No.
I just like the name. And I'm sure the Wheat Kings will too.
I see Tim going with a youngster from Switzerland named Beat Scheiss Forster.
Yes.
Any guy with a first name of Beat, is
gotta
pretty
like
cool. The other direction may be Timu Jaskalainen. He's from Finland. He's had good luck with Timus in the draft. He may go back that direction.
He tried a couple Magnuses one year, didn't he?
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
he might
Ralph,
go
what do you
Timu,
see? What do you see happening here with
Well,
the
I'm
Wheat
just
Kings?
I'm just looking through my book here, and they're talking a little bit about the Wheat Kings, and I kind of look for him again to go for a young player, and I think he's going to go out west. And I think he's going to go to Calgary. I think Calgary's got some good young players. Oleg Saprikin.
Saprikin.
Oleg Saprikin. And it's not quite as complicated a name as he's used to, but I think he's trying to rebuild that franchise in Lawrenceville, and I think it's teetering on being a very mediocre franchise, and I think he's going to have to look for some young strength.
I would agree.
Okay.
You think he's almost at mediocre, do you?
He's coming down to that way. I'll be seeing him shortly when he gets down to mediocre.
The third pick, the Turbo Screws, led by Greg Smith, Orrin Hatch, Jean-Pierre, however you want to see there. The way I see this is, he's got the third pick. I figure after asking whether 6 different guys are available, he's going to go ahead and draft Mario Lemieux, not knowing that you protected him. And then, he won't be able to recover once he's told that he's protected. Ralph, what do you see here?
I think I have some inside information on this one, but I think he's going to go with Dan Highnote because I think he likes the name. And
Well, what's not to like?
and I think he's attracted to it in a different sort of way, and he's indicated to sources that I think are pretty solid sources.
Okay.
If he's conscious by this point in the
Yeah,
draft,
that's always
because
something you need to
we're
be
already
cognizant
3
of.
picks into the draft.
Sure.
So,
You stole my thunder, Ralph.
I'm going to go with Dan Heine.
Okay, Tom, what do you have?
If he's still awake at this point, I'm going to go with something with Ralph's. Ron Tugnut. He can get a lot of mileage out of that name.
Tugnut's solid.
So,
If you're happy and you know it, tug
yeah, something like that. That's if he's awake.
Okay.
If he's not, I say we give him his 2 minutes and then.
And then we take the
move
pick
on.
away.
Yeah.
Okay, Andy?
Well, again, this goes back to the Jose pick that I don't think we were giving him enough credit. I think with Greg, we're giving him too much credit.
Okay.
I really see Jason Allison here. Another protected player, but it's his own protected player. That's
Nice angle.
I see Jason Allison.
I like that.
That's interesting. Okay. The fourth pick, the Saskatoon Warthogs. Fairly recent expansion team, up and down. Toward the end of the season, I think they've had some injury problems. They were down last year. They're picking fourth. They have needs kind of everywhere. They got Eisman, Pronger. I don't know. Tom, what do you see happening with the
Fedorov
Warthogs?
all the way. Can't have enough Red Wings on that team.
So you're thinking an Eisman, Fedorov tandem at center? Okay. Ralph?
I think you're going to see a trade here. In the
trade.
draft. At this point in the draft, I think you're going to see a trade. I think the former upper deckers, the Ferrets, are going to be trying to trade up to get their key player. And I don't want to steal the thunder, but we'll talk about his player later in the draft.
Okay.
I think he's worried that this player isn't going to be there
Sure.
with the fourth pick.
Okay.
And I think you're going to see a deal. I think, as we all know, the Ferrets are fair, honest dealers, and they're always willing to make a fair deal with other owners in the league.
Well, I think we all
so
agree.
I'm looking for a fair deal coming out of Reykjavik on this one. They'll probably be throwing Reki or somebody into the deal to try to move up.
Andy, if this trade doesn't happen, what do you see going on here with the Warthogs?
Well, I have to agree with Tom again. I guess this must be great minds think alike.
Or not so great minds.
He's been trying to get a player off of me for the last few years, and damn, he can have him. Chris Osgood. Again, you can't have enough Red Wings. Of course, he may not be a Red Wing after Friday.
Sure.
The Red Wings did not protect him, and he could very, very well be, playing for the Griffins in the AHL.
Okay. The Kip Jennifer, who is the owner of the Warthogs, is my brother-in-law, so I think I have some inside information here. Now, as someone who went on the MHL trip last year, and Andy, you were with us, I think I speak for everyone on that trip that we found someone very, very special in Columbus.
Well,
Espen Knudsen.
Espen Knudsen.
And he's not going to let it fall. He's going to take him here. So Espen Knudsen. Write it down. Fifth pick, Moose Jaw. Andy, you're up here. This is a pretty high pick for you.
It's the highest we've picked.
You going to give us some
ever.
inside information on what you're doing here?
Yeah, I'd be glad to, because I think it's very clear where I'm going.
Yeah.
Obviously the protection list speaks for itself. We've kept the centers that we need, Marty Straka and Jaromir Jagr with the Penguins. And, I'm sorry.
No.
He's not
Capitals,
with the Penguins.
my fault. In that vein, again, that's going to be a juggernaut in Washington.
Sure.
I'm going with Glenn Metropolitan. That's my pick. To have the chance of them playing on the power play together.
And with someone Kelly. Sure.
Someone Kelly, yes. Yeah, he was a star of the MHL. But I don't see him in our plans. It's really, we like people with first names.
Okay. Tom, do you have any insight into
I
this
actually
pick?
saw Andy going with Milan Kraft for Alex. So Alex has another name on the Penguins other than Straka to watch for.
Mm-hmm.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah.
Ralph, what do you think Andy would have?
I think he's.
Do you think he's telling the truth here?
No. I think he's just trying to throw us off at this point.
My ruse has been discovered.
Andy is not used to drafting at this position in the draft. Some
That's
of
true.
us have been here pretty frequently, but Andy is drafted fairly early in this one. I think he wants to go back to his roots. Look for him to bring German Titov back. I think he wants to get Straka, Titov, Jagr. They played with the Penguins a few years ago together. Sure. I think he's looking for that connection again. And the people of Moose Jaw are looking for a connection, anything to break through the mud. And I don't want to argue with you here, but I wouldn't be surprised if you and some of your scouts have been looking at Titov this this year.
I must admit we have been. He is on the list, and he's old. That's another good reason.
And he likes mud.
Obviously, well, you gotta like mud if you play in Moose Jaw. You know, especially. I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot of the tourism in Moncton. There's been some Moose Jawians leaving during the drought that we've had.
Absolutely.
Very little mud production.
We count on the Moose Giants. We call them Moose Giants.
Well, that's incorrect.
Change that.
The 6th pick is owned by the Imperial Turbos. I'm not sure who's running this franchise, if it's Jerry Bunda or Jason Bunda or maybe one of those little kid Bundas. Anyway, 6th pick Turbos. Tom, I mean, what do you think?
I have him trading this pick.
Oh.
I have him trading it to SoCal for 2 third-round picks. That way he can pretty much have the entire third round then.
Okay. All right, well, that's a sound strategy. Ralph?
Wow, that's a nice call because I think he is trying to focus on the third round. I think with his team, where it's at, there's really not a lot you can do for it in the first round. I don't think he can improve that team, but I think if he can get 6 or 7 third-round picks loaded up on that team, I think he's going places.
Against the wall, something's going to stick.
You know, I don't want to be just a copycat here, but I think he's trying to corner the market on that third-round pick. And in fact, I don't want to accuse the guy of anything, but I'm hearing that what he's planning to do is completely corner the market on the third round and then just slow the whole draft down and try to get people to go home before the 4th round.
Well, Greg will be asleep, so we'll have to wake him up.
So he'll wake him up to get him home.
Right. And you know, he's gonna have to be dealing with the golf trophy and everything that night too. So he's got a lot on his mind.
You call me crazy, but
You're crazy.
I see Correa, I see Fedorov, I see Belfour all on the board at this pick. I don't think Jerry has any other choice but to draft Pat Falloon. I mean, am I crazy here? What?
No, that's
a silly
cost.
Andy, what do you think here?
I would agree, and just with a little bit of looking, actually, our crack scouting staff did not pick up those names. The information that I'm getting is that pretty much after we pick at 5, there's nobody left.
Well, that's pretty much true.
And I really think that Jerry's going to do the smart thing here. Again, it relates to the third round. He's going to pass. He's just got too many picks in the third round, and that's where you're going to get the quality players for the value at that pick.
Okay.
So I don't see him making a first round.
Well, at the number 6 pick is the SoCal Flaming Turbos Caucasians, not Turbos, Caucasians. It was fish tacos in there. I'm not sure if he threw fish tacos in there. He's the commissioner. He's now in the West Coast. Who knows what's going to happen with this franchise now? Andy, what do you think Jack's going to do here?
I really see the SoCal coming in, the influence here with the closeness to Mexico and everything.
Sure.
I see Mike Ribeiro. He plays for.
Is that a Latino player?
Yes. He plays with the Canadians. He's a winger. I think Ribeiro he's the place to go, and he definitely would know what a good Mexican beer is, unlike the Nesba.
Okay. Tom?
Well, I see Jack with he will have traded his 2 third-round picks to Jerry.
An opposite
previous
pick, sure.
Pick. So he's
Opposite
going to
strategy.
pick with these 2 picks the Sedin twins from Vancouver.
Well, that is I think we should probably say that now. If you pick one, you do get both.
Oh,
That's important
I didn't
to note.
know that.
It's like
I thought he
field.
was.
No,
I thought he was gonna
that's
have
a
to take him
package
with-
deal.
Oh, then, well, I don't know who he's going to take with this because I figured one Sedin with the 5th pick and one with the 6th.
Hey,
And because one of them's going to turn out to be okay.
sure. No, it's a package deal. You pick one, you get both.
Oh, okay. Well, then
It's kinda like the Ferraro twins.
Then what he'll do is he'll pick
Chris
the
and Peter,
Ferraro
right.
twins after.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Ralph?
Brett Lindros.
Brett Lindros.
I think Brett's got to fall here. I think the concussion issue.
He's cleared the cobwebs.
Is history. And Jack is. You saw last year that was a team in disarray without Brett's brother. What was that other guy's name? Eric.
I can't quite remember.
I think it was Eric. He was completely lost without him, and the people of SoCal were not happy with the way that team played last year. And I think he's got to do this for the fans. And so I look for them to bring the prodigal son home. Brett's coming home.
I can see where you're going with this. I got to go with Andy here. It's going to be more of a Southern California, Mexico kind of vibe I'm getting. My sources tell me it's probably going to be that Chihuahua from the Taco Bell commercials. You see that kid? You see that little kid on
All right,
ice?
well, that would
man?
please the fans, too.
Yeah, if he holds a stick, he's lethal.
The Yapper.
This next pick is tough. This is the Cobains, the dead Cobains.
You never know.
We all know that he's all over the board. We're not even sure if he's going to be there at the draft. No one's heard from him. He may be in, Australia at this point. Andy, I mean, what do you think?
Well,
He certainly is the most evil franchise.
I would agree. There's no question about that. And there's only one way for him to go. Again, like I said, the talent pool is getting low after we're here at the 8th pick in the middle of the first round. I'm seeing Ramzi Abid.
Does he wear a turban when he plays?
Oh, most definitely. And I think the links are there. It's very obvious. Franchises are going to have to watch out.
I'm on the same vibe with you. I see the Cobains, and this is, he's not going to believe this guy is still on the board when he picks, but Osama bin Laden is an obvious choice, I think, for the Cobains in this pick. He's got the pluck that I think Chris Pro-Stokes likes.
Good puck move.
Yeah, sure.
Good call.
Tom?
Well, with Slapshot 2 coming out, I see him taking Killer Carlson from the Charlestown
Wonderful.
Chiefs. Wonderful. Kind of bringing an older player in maybe to teach some of the younger players the stick skills that you need and the fighting skills you need.
Oh, it truly is.
Should blend with Satan real well.
Yes, excellent. They might be able to teach each other something.
Ralph?
Well, everybody's making fantastic points here, but I see the Cobains trying to go a new direction. I see a brighter, happier Cobains. I see sunshine. I see dancing in flowers. Hanat Dominicelli is going to be the guy that's going to lead them. I think it's just going to. I think he's looking for a change. I think he's deep down inside. He's a real happy, outgoing guy, and I think you're going to see that this year in the dead Cobains. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a name change.
One can only hope.
He accomplishes both goals by picking Dominicelli. I think that's a very, very good point because he does play for the Thrashers.
There you go.
You still stay on that rough attack there.
Ralph, you're up. The Fruit Loops have the 9th pick of the first round, and while my sources, I don't have any concrete information, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a guy named Maxim. Am I safe in saying that? No.
I can't really comment on that. I think there's a Maxim out there that's going to break through this year. And I don't want to really tip my hand on this one, but
Okay. So you're looking at
let
a
me just
Maxim.
say this. It's been picked before and it hasn't worked out. But sometimes, the timing is everything on these things.
Tom?
Well, now that you've said that, my pick for you is even better. Forsberg. I think you were crazy like a fox dangling Forsberg out there. You can take him back.
Well, I just have to say this. Out of respect for the league, the Moncton Fruit Loops will not have a player that is splingless. This league has had a long tradition of looking down on splingless hockey players.
Certainly. Borshevsky was exiled after he lost the spleen.
I'm hurt with that.
I'm sorry, it may have hurt the franchise. But in the long run, I feel like we did the right thing. And I'm afraid there's going to be an owner who's going to be willing to take this guy. But
It won't be you.
It won't be me.
So read your lips. No Forsberg.
No Forsberg.
Okay, Andy?
I agree with what Ralph is saying, and I don't think there's no question. It's not going to be Maxime Ouillet, the goaltender for the Flyers again. I just don't see it. It's going to be Maxim Balamoshnik. There's just no question. This is the obvious pick at that point. You need somebody for Korea. He's going to play there. Ruchin's back, and you have a Ruchin Balamoshnik, and what's that guy's name? Korea. He was dropped.
Korea?
Yeah, Korea.
Okay.
Still can't fathom that. But
He's
I see that
still on the board at this pick, by the way.
That's true. He isn't on the board, but I think Ralph knows better.
Okay. 10th pick, the Reykjavik Rabid Ferrets, Jim Pritchard. I don't know. I have my thoughts on who he's going to pick. I don't know if they blend with you, but Ray Bork? Yeah, Ray Bork. All right.
Sure.
Let's go ahead and just jump down to the 13th pick. I have to pick something out here. The Mother Puckers have the 13th pick. Now, first of all, them having a pick in the first round is news in and of itself.
Groundbreaking.
And I'm sure he's going to have a tough time picking, just because he's not used to even probably being there before the third round. But have you seen his list of protections? This is something that just jumped off the page to me. Patrice Brisebois is a protected mother pucker. Ed Belfour and a number of other guys are now available. What did Patrice Brisebois do for this man that he is now apparently a pucker for life?
Well, if you remember, we had a little problem with Patrice in Carver's Ferry. I'd rather not go any further.
So you're saying,
I mean,
what are you insinuating, Tom? You can say it.
I'm insinuating he may have a problem with one of our league policies.
Well, we all know he's always been trying to draft Curtis Brown, who is banned for life. Any relation there?
Maybe for another reason, yeah.
No, that's disturbing. Ralph, Andy, what do you see
Don't
with this?
pick up any pencils.
I
What do you make of
really
this?
struggle with this again, trying to look at who he's going to pick, and I've just come down to he's going to pick someone that drinks beer.
Okay, sure. Okay, Ralph?
Ty Domi could go here. I think Ty Domi is his kind of player. The Patrice Brisebois situation is a little unnerving. It has me a little bothered. I'm not sure exactly how to read that. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I think at this point in the draft, looking the way things have fallen, Ty Domi's probably the best pick for
Well, he really established himself in the playoffs last year by getting suspended. Didn't he get suspended for the rest of the playoffs?
Oh, yes, he did. Absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
I'm surprised the Cobains jumped over him. I mean, if Bin Laden wasn't available, of course.
Now, we're just assuming the Cobains don't know about him because they probably haven't been in the country in a couple of months. But
Sure.
I see him taking Curtis Brown here.
Do you think
Just
it's Curtis
to defy
Brown?
the league. He hasn't had a first-round pick in what? 7, 8 years?
8 years.
So what difference does it make? He'll just waste his pick.
Or he could pass.
Well, that's a possibility too.
Okay. Do you have any other picks in the first round that you want to throw out there?
I really think that we should look at the floppers and the floaters. I really do. Especially with Mr. Garver being here. But the floppers, I see Mikhail Renberg here. I mean, he still thinks he's a flyer.
Sure.
And
He's not a flyer?
With him being hidden in Toronto, Dave might be crazy like a fox. I'm taking. He's going to say, "I'd take Mikhail Renberg from the Flyers," and we're all going to go, "Oh, good pick." I see that happening.
Well, if he does it, I wouldn't know he wasn't with the Flyers. Tom,
I haven't taken Korea back.
Korea. What about your pick?
I don't have one.
You don't have a pick in the first round?
This is where I see
Which I have a major problem with. I mean, I think if you're lucky, you're just lucky, and you get a guy that's just the way it should be. But you guys took my first pick away from me. Now, if you want to vote that I get it back, that'd be fine.
I think you're going to do something even smarter. I mean, obviously you've won the trophy, something that I cannot do. So obviously you're incredibly more intelligent.
You haven't done. You can do it.
Well,
No, I don't think he can.
No, I don't know.
we even know that. I mean, we're purely in it for the money.
Okay, quickly, let's just go around. Do you have another? I'm sorry.
I think
he was going somewhere
I
with
think I see you dropping Lemieux and taking this pick back. He's very lethargic. He's going to play with Steven Riker. He's going to be a major floater.
He's only playing 2 out of 3 games.
I see you dropping him and taking Michael Civic.
Civic, a young up-and-comer.
Played
I believe
very
he's
well
Czech.
Monday night. He played very well Monday night against the Thrashers. Had 2 or 3 turnovers.
He was a monster.
Oh, he was a monster, beyond belief. I think Tom's genius is going to show through it.
Okay, time is running out. Let's just quickly go around. Who's going to win this year, and who's going to whine this year? Ralph?
I think this is going to be the year for the Rats.
The Rats.
I think the Rats are going to take it all. I think they're going to look stupid in the draft. They're going to have another bad draft. Everyone's going to laugh and mock them after the draft, and then they're going to turn around and probably run off about 14 straight victories to start the season.
They do it every year.
You can't kill the Rats.
Okay.
And I think you're going to see them be at the top as far as the whiner. I got to go with the Ferrets again. I know it seems like a repetitive thing, but this lack of a rule change, we're not going to hear the end of it. His Ray Bork days are over. He wants things changed, and I think he's going to continue to whine until he gets it.
Tom?
I picked myself to win it again.
Sure.
Yeah, man, what the heck.
It's a nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you. I'm going to sweep the floppers again.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I picked. As far as whiners are concerned, I agree with Ralph the Ferrets, but don't discount my brother. He's been bitching and moaning about this hit-by-pitch thing in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going to happen in hockey, I guarantee you.
Maybe a game misconduct rule can come back.
He'll be whining about something by week 3.
Okay, Andy?
I have to agree with you, Tommy. You stole my thunder. It's going to be the MHL'ers. We all
To win it all?
no to be the whiner. I
okay.
really want to focus on this whining thing because who wins it all really does not mean anything to me.
Okay.
Because I know it's not going to be me.
Right.
But to give a pick there, I see Ralph coming back to win
Ralph.
a championship. Yeah, I think the MHL'ers are going to be our problem. Jim, we've just basically accepted, and I'm used to it. You know, and it's, that's just the way it is with Jim. You take it, or you love him, or you leave him.
Okay. Personally, I see Cobain's taking it all this year. I think that evil thing is finally going to pay off for him, finally. As far as whining, I think we're used to Jim, so we're not, it doesn't bother us as much, all the whining. So I think your brother is definitely going to take the whining. Well, guys, thanks for being here. This has been very enlightening. Coming up next, a very special segment. It's called Shoot the Puck. I know you all love it, but first, another special MHL This Week moment in history.
Can we have a group hug?
Oh,
I'd like to introduce our guests. We have here the Riddlers, Suzanne Newsom, Tom Garver. Apparently Ralph Canterbury was supposed to be here, was unable to make it. Oh, now there's Ralph. I just see him off the, he's just walking in now. I'd like to introduce Ralph Canterbury of the Women in Lingerie. And his guest.
Thank you.
That's a pretty imposing entrance. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think.
you very much.
What's your aunt or friend's animals, or whatever his name is there?
This here is Ching Lee, and Ching is part of the Women in Lingerie empire, and Ching is going to be around with me for most of these shows from now on, and I'll be getting into that a little bit later. Ching is more or less just my representative here.
Okay, I understand.
Oh, by the way, I did want to make sure everyone got the view of the cup. This one, there it is. Put it right out here and appreciate if no one would touch
I
it.
did want to jump in. Another investigation that the league has ongoing somewhat relates to one of your baseball players, Roberto Alomar, who, for those of you not in NESBA, may recall Roberto Alomar was given some death threats this year in Toronto, and the Moose Jaw organization was able to determine that those threats came from the Canterbury Sports Empire. And I have a piece of tape here I'd like Jim to roll for you that we filmed in the town of Moncton. We sent our detectives up to Moncton to, and as you can see on the tape, there's the beautiful sign of Moncton right up on front, and you can see it's just well landscaped. It's just a very friendly and fun-loving town, it looks like from here, and you can see some kids there. As Jim pans in, you can see some children
kind of frolicking
in front of the sign.
Looks like they're having a good time.
Yeah, I'm sure their parents are off having a picnic lunch and not a care in the world. And we, the detectives almost shut the camera off and said, there's nothing going on in this town. Then, as they panned over to the M in Moncton, they were shocked to see what was lurking there. And I think as you zoom in, Ching Lee is behind the M in Moncton watching these children. One can only guess as to what might have happened.
There's a surprise.
To these children later. Unfortunately, we ran out of tape and weren't able to capture the rest of that incident, but I mean, it's scary to think that Ching Lee
Right on
is
the
out
border.
there unrestrained, out in the open, no supervision. Welcome back to the MHL This Week. As promised, we have a new feature for you this week because we didn't have a Play of the Week. An exciting one-time event this week. We have the Wheel o' Gretzky. As you may recall, several weeks ago, the Women in Lingerie sent out a pretty humorous fax trying to get anyone interested in Wayne Gretzky, and no one was. And because of that, we have a wheel here which we're going to spin, and we have all the team's logos on it. And when whoever's logo comes up, they will have the first right to match any offer that the Women in Lingerie may receive for Wayne Gretzky. Number one on the wheel, we don't have a logo yet for the floppers. So that's the only empty one, and as you can see, we have everybody else's logo. So without further ado, let's give the wheel the magical spin. It looks like the Rat Patrol are the unlucky winners. The Rat Patrol, a bad team already, and now they have a chance to make their team even worse. You can't beat that. Well, that's the show for the week. I have one word for the Riddlers before I close, and especially for you, Tom. Eat my shorts.
Okay, we're back on the MHL this week, and of course, one of the most popular segments we've ever had, and you know, something that's really touched the imagination of millions worldwide is Shoot the Puck at Tom. We've excluded Ralph because of that fight thing. We didn't think he should have a stick. So, Andy, I guess you're up first, and which logo of the opposing team have you selected?
Well, this year, especially with a new team coming in, with the Garvis Ferry Ice Melters, I thought that would be appropriate, but I'd rather shoot the Upper Deckers.
Okay, wow, I didn't see that coming. All right, go ahead. Okay, line up first shot. That's a little... Oh, well, that was close.
From the back end there.
Oh, and the kitchen set.
Into the sink and everything.
All right, Tom, you're up. Which team have you selected?
I was kind of like Andy. I was thinking with the ice melters coming in, kind of show them how much we love them. But
Sure.
I'm going to go with the Deckers myself.
All right, that's a good choice. There you go. All right, let's get it the first time here. You had good lift. Can't say much for the direction, but lift was good.
Wow, I was way off.
He said lift.
I think you have something there now. Oh! Well, there you go.
Close enough for rock and roll.
All right. Andy, come on, join us.
Great shot, Tom.
Thank you.
Okay, that's going to do it for the MHL this week. I hope you enjoyed the show, and let's leave you with another MHL This Week moment. Good night.
You may recall some time ago, a couple months ago, the league announced that it was going to launch an investigation into the influence, particularly with respect to the league's homosexual policy. They drafted Patrice Brisbois, which immediately sent up red flags to the league office and as a possible violation of the homosexual policy. After 2 or 3 months of intensive investigation by our crack detective staff, the league feels as though it has come up with what it believes to be incontrovertible evidence that the infants have in fact violated the league's homosexual policy. I have that evidence in my hand here. Put it up here, hopefully you can see it. Is that okay there, Bill? You may see the label of this product, Brie de La Fontaine. In God's name, what would any heterosexual hockey player be doing? Sponsoring and putting his name on Brie. Furthermore, aside from the incredible thought that the #1 scorer in the NHL is a fag, obviously, because real men don't eat Brie. If he was a man, his name would be Le Fontaine, not La Fontaine. For those of you, and I realize